Hi, and welcome to KXAN Plus. I'm your host, Esmeralda Zamora, and we have our Nick's First Warning episode here with meteorologist Nick Bannin. Nick, thank you for joining me. How you doing?
Good, Esme. I've had this cough for like 3 weeks now, and it's really annoying because it just won't go away. So for 3 weeks, I sound like I can't talk, and it sounded a little Kermit the Frog-esque.
We love Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
Well, we'll power through it and talk as quiet as we can so that you don't keep straining that voice, because we got to hear you on broadcast too, right?
That's true. Got to do that as well. We're going to cover a lot today. We're into early February now, so I want to do a quick recap of January with the rankings of the month for temperatures and precipitation. Then we've got a brand new February outlook, and then we want to dive into when the typical last freezes come. So lots to get to in today's episode.
And the word freeze may scare a little people after the recent freeze that we had just a few weeks ago. So let's hope that the last freeze has come and gone.
Yes, I know. Typically, though, we do get more in February, but not always. It's possible our last freeze is behind us, but I wouldn't bet on it just yet.
Well, what did January look like?
Yeah, let's bring some of the rankings in for January, because when we look at the warmest Januaries on record for Austin, you could see we were warmer than average. That 30-year average there is 52.2 degrees, and our number for 2026 was 52.8. So we were 0.6 degrees warmer than normal, but we weren't anywhere close to being the warmest Januaries on record. We were the 42nd warmest January on record. So still in the upper third of warm Januaries out of 127 years of record, but nowhere near the top. So it was a warm January overall. We had a very warm, if not record warm, beginning to January, but then we countered that with some cold, obviously, toward the end of the month. And it didn't perfectly cancel out. The warmth still had won the game over the cold, but it did end up getting us closer to average, even though we were still 0.6 degrees warmer than average. And then from a rainfall perspective, 2.64.
More ice
or
than
ice,
rain.
yeah. I mean, how this is all done is it's the liquid content within the ice. So I know we got sleet and freezing rain. That gets melted down into how much liquid came out and sort of a rain equivalent. And then that gets entered into the record. So a typical January gets 2.64 inches of liquid, and we got 1.44. So we were 1.2 inches shy of normal January rainfall. But even that wasn't near the driest Januaries ever. It was the 59th driest January ever. But again, it's out of 127 years. So, not near the top, not near the bottom, not exactly in the middle, closer to being drier than wetter. But still, we need the rain, and we haven't had it lately.
Yeah, and so January more warm than cold and more dry than wet. But it looks like that warm didn't carry into February, because we're still feeling those cool, breezy temperatures.
Yeah, we started cold, although signs of the next week being rather warm. So the cold will be very soon getting out of here. And in fact, that is in line with the expectations for what we're thinking as far as the February temperature outlook. You can see leaning warmer than normal for the month. Not super likely warmer than normal. The likelihood of it being warmer than normal goes up as you get into these darker shades. But we're at least leaning warmer than normal, closer to any other outcome. And then from a precipitation perspective, looking near normal for the month of February, wetter to the south, drier to the north. Now you may then ask, well, what is normal?
Normal for February.
Exactly. I'm so glad you asked, Esme. Average highs begin at 64 at the beginning of the month, and then warm to 69 by the end of the month. Normal lows go from 43 at the beginning of the month to 49 by the end of the month. It ends up being our third coldest month of the year. January's the coldest, December's the second coldest, and then here we are in the month of February, the third coldest month of the year. But quick warming by the end of the month. Our days are already getting longer, so that eventually helps to bring our temperatures up more and more. It's also our driest month of the year on average, with only 1.89 inches of rain. So it's not a month that we typically count on for wet weather. But interestingly, it is our snowiest month of the year.
Ooh.
So even though it's our driest, it's also our snowiest. It is the only month of the year that in Austin at Camp Mabry that we actually average any snow at all, with 0.2 inches of snow coming in the month of February.
And I know these are early predictions, but do you think that we will get that chance of snow this month?
We're not seeing any indications of wintry precipitation coming anytime soon. And as you get later into the month of February, the odds start to go down. We've had wintry weather, though, in March, and we've had freezes as late as April. So never say never, but we're just not seeing signs of that anytime soon.
More of warmth in the next few days.
More warmth and not a whole lot of wet weather either. Now, some may ask, are we done with freezes?
Yeah.
We've had 10 so far since November 1st.
Wow, it doesn't even feel like we had 10.
Yeah, I mean, we had really a lot.
They happen more around the time where most people are asleep, right?
Yeah, overnight and also into the morning. So as people are dropping their kids off at school and going to work and things. So it depends how early you wake up, I suppose, Esme. Maybe you're sleeping through every single freeze and you never notice it.
Maybe I have.
But yeah, we've picked up 10. Most of them came near and surrounding our sleet storm. But we picked up a couple, I think it was 2 in December, and then the rest have been in January. A typical year gets 12, so we're not quite at average yet, but we're getting closer to it. And we've obviously, you and I have talked about the forecast for freezes that the weather team have predicted.
It looks like you and Kristen are pretty close, right?
Yeah, so Freddie guessed 9. I think you may have the list up there. I guessed 13. I think Kristen was up closer to me, and then Tommy guessed the most.
Yeah, Tommy had 15.
Tommy had 15, yes. So I was
he
at
wanted
13.
us to stay cold this season.
Kristen at 11. So right now, if Rich is actually winning if we don't get any more. Oh,
he's spot on.
Yeah, he's right on with 10. That's if we were not to get any more freezes for the rest of the winter.
But we still have how many days left?
Of?
Winter?
It's the end of February. So we still have
a month.
Almost 4 weeks left. Yeah. So there's still time, and sometimes you can get some freezes into March as well. So I'm feeling good about my 13 for now. It's very possible that we just stop right at 10, though. There's been years that our last freeze was in January, and then we never got any in February. We've already had a freeze this February.
Yes, we started with a freeze in February.
Exactly. Good memory. First day of the month had a freeze.
It's only the 3rd day of the month.
Okay. Well, I'm impressed that you remember the first day of the month. Well done. Your memory's already better than mine. We do average 2 freezes in the month of February. We've already had 1.
So one more to go.
One more to go. And then we average 1 in March. But not every March gets a freeze. Some have had several. Many have had none. So that's certainly not a guarantee that we get a freeze in March. Now, here's the recent number of freezes that we've had in the winter. So 2024, 2025, of course, winter split over 2 years. That's why you're seeing 2 different dates.
Oh, okay.
It begins in December, ends in February, right? Yeah. So we had 16 freezes last winter. And again, 12 is normal. So last winter had more than normal.
Above normal for sure.
Yeah, by several.
16 freezes? I don't remember that.
Oh, we had plenty. In late January into early February is when we got a chunk of them last year.
Didn't we get some snow flurries?
We got half an inch of snow last winter, yeah. So interestingly, last winter, we had a super late first freeze, yet we were still able to get more than normal freezes, even though the first freeze came really late. But then the winter before that, only 8 freezes. So that was fewer than normal. Also fewer than we've had this winter. And then the winter of 2022 to 23 had 14 freezes, so a little above normal. Winter of 2021 to 22 had 17 freezes. And the winter of 2020 to 2021 had 16 freezes. So 4 of the last 5 winters have had more than the average of 12 freezes. So we've had plenty of freezes lately, is all that means.
Let's see if we'll continue them this winter.
Now, we've already had a freeze in February, so this stat doesn't apply as much. But only 17% of Februaries have no freezes at all. So it doesn't happen that often. Mm-hmm. But we've already had our 1, so technically we could not get one the rest of February, and we've still had a freeze this month. But that just shows you how common it is to get freezes in the month of February. Only 22 times in 127 years of data has Austin not had a freeze in February.
So it's pretty spot on that we do get freezes in February. We already got our first one. Maybe we can expect some more. We don't know yet.
Yeah. And there's some signs that we'll get a light freeze this Thursday in the hill country, but not in the metro. But we're thinking we won't get a freeze in Austin for at least more than a week. There's plenty of warmth ahead. So let's just summarize the freezes in Austin. And the most freezes we've ever had over a winter was 1898 to 1899, where we had 57.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
I cannot. That is crazy.
Believe it.
It must have been a very, very cold year.
Yes. The fewest freezes we've ever had in the winter, we had 4 back in the winter of 97 to 98, and also the winter of 1994 to 95. The most freezes that we've had on any particular day, meaning the date that is most likely to have a freeze. For some reason, we were able to find this fun data. January 7th, the 16th, and the 20th have had more freezes than any other
Did we get any freezes on those dates
I
this year?
looked this year, and we did not.
Wow. Well, that's not true then.
No, not this year. Since 1898, we've had 2,368 freezes in Austin, and we've had 2,023 triple-digit days. Why do we compare, you wonder? Well, the number of triple-digit days is quite rapidly catching up to the number of freezes that we have in Austin.
I would think that those numbers would be flipped because I feel like the heat sticks around longer than the cold does here.
Yeah, and that's been the trend lately. So our triple-digit days have been outnumbering the number of freezes a lot of the time over the last several years.
How many years do you think it will take for us to surpass
Oh, man,
that?
now you're really putting me on the spot. Esme, what are you doing? All right, so we're 345 behind, and we average 29 triple-digit days a year and 12 freezes. So that would mean 17 triple-digit days more per year on average than freezes. So 17 times the 300.
I didn't mean for
I would
this
say another
question to be so
20
hard.
years?
20 years? That is not far away.
No, 20 years, unless my math is off by a decimal place. I think it would mean that in 20 years' time, we would see that number.
20 or 200?
20.
That is
Okay, now you're making me get
right
out my
around
calculator. Oh, this is fun, though. All right, so the difference is 2, 3, 6, 8.
Nick's first math
minus
class.
203. All right, the difference is 345.
Wow.
Okay, 345 more freezes than triple digits, but we average 17 more triple digits than freezes in the 30-year average. So divide that by 17, and I said 20. Aha, look at that math.
Wow.
It's actually 20.3.
Spot on.
So anyway.
We're doomed because heat is coming.
Yeah, so in 20 years, we'll have more triple-digit days than the number of freezes.
That is sad.
By our estimate. Now, you may be wondering, when's the last freeze on average? The last final freeze is the day after Valentine's Day, February 15th. So we're getting close to that, less than 2 weeks away from the typical last freeze. But we have had freezes that have extended past the average last final freeze. In fact, here's the last 5 years of final freezes.
March 12th in 2022.
March 12th in 2022. We had freezes in March.
Hopefully we have freezes in March this year.
You want some freezes?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep the mosquitoes at bay.
A nice, beautiful spring season.
Yeah, nice.
Wouldn't mind.
Morning freeze to get you woken up. So last year, remember February 15th is the average final freeze. We had one about a week late. But then in 2024, the freezes ended early.
Mm-hmm.
In 2023, it was only 3 days later than normal. March of 2022 was almost a month late. And then in 2021, it was only 5 days late. So 4 of the last 5 winters have had a later than normal freeze. So not only have 4 of the last 5 winters had a later than normal freeze, but 4 of the last 5 winters have also had more freezes than average.
Wow.
You want to know about the latest freezes ever, right?
Yeah, that March one surprised me.
Well, get ready for this.
April
9th in 1914, we had a freeze. So we're not truly safe until we get out of the first week of April. That being said, we have not had April freezes very recently at all. And as we've been talking about, Austin's climate is warming due to 2 factors, warming climate due to climate change, and also to some extent, a smaller extent though, is the growth and the extra concrete and asphalt that we're seeing. Climate change is the bigger part, but we can't ignore the growth either. But we haven't seen freezes as late as that in quite some time. So it seems unlikely that we would have to wait there. And then maybe you can take this graphic full here. The forecasted low temperatures over the next week. You could see, yes, we get down into the 30s in Austin on Thursday, but that's our only day, and that doesn't even get down to freezing in Austin. So at least for the next 7 days, we're not expecting a freeze. And by my math, and by the way I'm cheating and looking at the calendar off screen.
Calculator.
Yes, that takes us through the 10th of February.
Yeah.
And with the average final freeze being the 15th, statistically speaking, doesn't give us a lot of opportunity for cold. We can always get some, however, but look at the extended 8 to 14 day temperature outlook from the 10th through the 16th. It is very likely that we will be warmer than normal during that period, which doesn't mean that you can't get freezes when you're warmer than normal. It just makes it harder to do.
Yeah, and these outlooks that we're looking at right now, this 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, is there room for this to change? I know it's pretty early in February. Could the prediction change?
I mean, so this is a rolling 8 to 14 day outlook that every day gets pushed later into the month. So these outlooks do change because they're not always looking for the same time period, but they also change because the forecast changes too. Yeah. But for right now, middle of February, looking warmer than normal, despite some of the scary weather maps that had been shared over the last week suggesting another freeze heading for Texas.
Where does that come from, Nick?
It comes from some people who see one model and share it rather than looking at the bigger picture, or looking for computer model consistency, or looking among several different models to get some agreement. So some people saw that, shared it. Everyone was expecting mid-February cold. It does not appear to be likely. Doesn't mean that we won't get cold later in February or into March. And of course, forecasts can change, but there's much more agreement on it being warmer than normal in February, the middle of the month, than it is being colder than normal. And of course, we got a blog on this topic, KXAN.com, under the weather and traffic tab. This story called When Could Overnight Freezes End in Austin? We first published it last week. I know we had some technical hiccups, but we did want to get our full discussion on KXAN Plus for you to hopefully enjoy. There you go. You can dig into more of the details about final freezes and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and you can take a look and see that we are expecting a warmer than normal February.
Yes.
Not exciting. I guess exciting for people on Valentine's Day. You mentioned that it gets warmer on February 15th. Does that mean that the cold hearts melt after Valentine's Day?
Oh, so sweet. You've got love on your brain, I can tell. But no, February 15th is just the average final freeze. Doesn't mean that we can't have freezes on the 15th after Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
But sounds like you love the cold mornings anyway. So
I don't think I wake up for the cold mornings.
Oh, okay. You just read about them.
I just read about them.
You just talk about
I
them
talk
with
to
me.
you about them.
Okay.
But the cold nights, I do love.
Oh, all right. Well, they go hand in hand often.
Close to each other.
Oh.
Well, thank you, Nick, for sharing. And we're excited for our next topic next week.
All right. We'll try and figure out what that one is by then. Thanks, Esme.